Right, welcome guys. The Rings of Power is apparently on the verge of Season 3 renewal by Amazon. That's right, they're threatening another season. We've got one more season of this utter nonsense and drivel. Oh yes, allegedly. There's some rumours and reports that they have to make 5 seasons of this. It was part of the deal that they made. I don't know whether that is true or not, because you can always get out of deals, but it's like the price you've got to pay to get out of the deal. I don't know. It's interesting. So let's take a look, right? Rings of Power has obviously not done massively well. This is Season 2 specifically, as you can see here. 59% on Rotten Tomatoes is not great. I think what's so interesting about this, actually, is just how few people have reviewed it. 5,000 plus ratings. Which actually, I mean, that's not a lot. That isn't a lot. At all. So when you're looking at it like that, and you know, we could compare it to the first season as well, because again, there's not a lot that they've done here. We go to Season 1, so 5,000 for Season 2, 25,000 plus for Season 1. Do you see the difference? Do you see why, although the number is higher for Season 2 in terms of the tomato meter, it's not actually that that's revealing, it's the amount of reviews that's really revealing. Barely anyone reviewed it. 491 critics, 25,000 plus audience, and it's actually the same picture for Season 2. Critics barely reviewed it, and neither did the audience. So people have checked out. People can't be bothered with the show anymore. But again, Amazon seem to be labouring this point. They're going to just keep threatening us with this nonsense. It says here, the company is on the verge of renewing its Prime Video fantasy epic, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, for a 3rd season. Whilst showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay have been prepping the next season's story for months, which is always a smart thing to do, basically, you know, prep a story before you've got the full response to your previous season. Definitely. That's the best thing to do, actually. So essentially you're locked in, you know, and you can't change anything based on feedback. That's the best way to go about it, I've been told. It's actually what they did between Season 1 and Season 2, allegedly. Didn't bother listening to any feedback on Season 1. Nope, they couldn't care less. But anyway, so obviously there's a lack of green light. Has been a source of speculation and concern amongst some fans, all 12 of them. Especially since the 2nd season was ordered years before the 1st season debuted. But the news will likely be announced this month. Maybe. We'll see. So the decision is following this week's Prime Video UK upfront presentation to advertisers in London, where Amazon and MGM Studios touted, this is interesting, Rings of Power content and brought out several members of the show's cast. So they just wheeled out the cast members. Right, please come out. Meet some advertisers here. During its presentation to advertisers. So apparently at these events, studios don't really present shows to buyers if they're not going to continue them. Which does make sense, because, you know, the individuals that they're trying to sort of curry favour with, you know, you're going to present them with a show, aren't you? And be like, hey, you can advertise on this show. This show's great. Advertise on it now. So studio head Jennifer Salk told buyers that Season 2 has generated over 55 million viewers. Now, that's a rather deceptive term, because Amazon has not actually told anyone what defines... Well, they don't tell people what constitutes a viewer. Excellent. Bloody brilliant. So they're like, well, it's got 55 million viewers. Oh, okay, what does that mean then? I can't tell you that. Well, that could be anything then. Oh, bloody nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Now, apparently the company expects the latest season to catch up with the 1st season. Apparently the 1st season reached 150 million viewers. Still don't know what that means, because they haven't bothered to tell anyone, which is just great. But it is interesting. You know, the show did well on the Nielsen charts. But that's still not great either. You know, 1 billion minutes. It sounds like a lot, but I mean, it's not really. It's not really. These shows are incredibly long. Incredibly long. You know, the episodes of Rings of Power, so bloody long. That's not good. It says this on the reception front. Rotten Tomatoes critic and audience scores are a bit stronger for the second round than the first, which I've already broken down how actually the revealing element is how few reviews are actually in from both critics and audiences. But, you know, trust the Hollywood Reporter to not point that out. Because they're idiots. Previously, the Hollywood Reporter reported that Amazon currently remains committed to its original 50-hour plan for the series. 50 hours! My God. This could constitute torture in some countries and settings, honestly. Genuinely. Like, media and music has been used as a torture device over the years. This could constitute that. So Payne and McKay, who also have multi-year deals, have assembled their third season writers' room. The writers on board include Justin Dobell, Ben To-Go, brilliant, Ava Wong Davies, Constance Cheng, Jonathan Wilson, Griff Jones, and Sarah Anson. Cool, I guess. Like, who cares? Who cares about these people? Oh, wait, who cares? Oh, sorry. Sorry. The director cares. One of the directors. They've come out and said Galadriel was obviously in love with Halbrand. You just stop making the show now. So, the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power director Charlotte Brandstrom claims that Galadriel was in love with Halbrand. Brilliant. In an interview with The Nerdist following the conclusion of the show's second season, Brandstrom was asked, seeing Halbrand really affected Galadriel, what were her feelings for him? Yeah, Galadriel obviously was in love with Halbrand. She was very attracted to him. So when Sauron changes shape, Sauron knows this because he gets into her head. So he knows what she's thinking, what she's feeling. So when he immediately takes Halbrand's shape, he completely destabilizes her because that was her weakness. She had very strong feelings for the king, for Halbrand, obviously in the first season. Great. Just what epic fantasy saga this is. As for what Sauron thought, Brandstrom shared her thoughts after being asked. When bonded characters reunite after separation, it's always intense. Doubly so if it's Galadriel and Sauron. Can you talk a bit more about crafting their sword fight reunion and what you wanted them to each bring to the moment? Yeah. These are two very magnificent actors. No one. And also two extremely strong and magical characters in Middle-earth. And they were also the most powerful people there. So the fact that the two of them were fighting against each other, I wanted to be very epic. And when Sauron realises that he's not going to win, that's when he starts to change shape to distract her. So he tricks her, really. And it becomes Halbrand for a while, because he knew the feelings Galadriel had for him. I also think that Sauron was almost disappointed in the end, because I think he would have liked to have Galadriel as his queen. Oh, right, okay, so he was in love with her as well then. And I think that even however malicious and dark Sauron is, he's the Dark Lord, he also believes very strongly that he's there to help Middle-earth. He's going to heal it all. There's a French film director from many years ago called Jean Renoir. And he always said in one of his films called The Rules of the Game that everybody has their reasons, always. And that's why I go by. It's like you always need to find what their motivation is, and then the character becomes credible too. Oh, this is lame. Anyway, there you go. Amazon keeps threatening us with more of this nonsense drivel. Yep, we're going to get more of it, guys. More of it. Even though, again, I've broken this down. I mean, you know, 25,000 plus reviews for the first show. Only 5,000 for this second one. It is a bomb. Like, it's a huge bomb. Massive failure. Yeah, we'll get a third season. Of course we will, but it's still a failure. Anyway, leave your thoughts down below. Take care. Bye-bye now.